Okay, so I guess my screen is visible. Um, we are discussing the block diagram reduction. So one of the problems of block diagram reduction, we can say it is first of all, it is a bit complicated. It needs multiple steps. Let me share. Okay, it needs multiple steps. And what are other problems? Like whenever we design an engineering technique of reduction or something, we need to have a mechanism for automation. For example, we have a lot of gains, and lot of forward path, feedback path, forward path. So how we will going to automate it? We need to automate it because we need the computer, or we need the computer to solve this our complicated systems. Okay, so how are we going to do this? So one of the, you can, if you have seen the block diagram reduction techniques, it is very complicated. There are a lot of steps and have a lot of ways we can go wrong, and there is no fixed starting point, ending point. Anyone, a lot of people can do different ways and they can reach the same conclusion or different conclusion. So there are a lot of ways of gaining losing the control and programming. When we make it automated, how we can input the block diagram or system or the distributed system to this computer and let it solve a problem. So this is a problem which we are facing, how to make it automated, or the system or the computer can automatically give us the output. So this was the problem, and the scientist is the Mason, SJ Mason. So he developed a technique to converting the block diagrams into graphs. So how we did this? So all this block diagram we can be converted into simple graph like that. So 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 I'll just redraw this. This is just a example. We need a summer. All these points we need a summer, and this is a plus one. So we can redraw this complicated block diagram into simple graph like structure, so that the computer tree diagram or a different paths, shortest path. We have a lot of tree algorithm, binary trees, and so we'll easy for data structures to model the block diagram problem. So we have something like that. We can model this using nodes, different nodes. Gain G1, again next node gain G2, again next node gain G3, something like this. Okay, so this was the technique, and we have feedback from this to this. So this is H1, this is minus, I call this minus H1, right? So what I have converted this complicated block diagram into simple nodes, different nodes, and these nodes can be represented using some computer or data structures like arrays, trees, right, lists, etc. So this became a bit easier. Here there is one more node is there. This is, yeah, so gain maybe one, so this is gain one, something like this. Okay, so to simplify the representation of block diagrams, and also to simplify the process of getting an optimized or simplified block diagram transfer function, made scientists to think, how can I reduce the complicated process to simple so that computer can also do it using proper data structures. Okay, so we need a step-by-step process. This is what we are going to learn right now. If anything is given, if you know, in block time reduction, you have seen a lot of logic you have to apply, a lot of experience, a lot of practice you have to do to simplify it fast. Else we are going to do mistakes, or we'll be doing the wrong way, exchanging the loops and gains or reverse. So what we need is a step-by-step mechanism. We can kind of call it an algorithm, right? A kind of algorithm is required so that given any problem, any complicated block diagram problem with a lot of gains and loops and forward paths, right? We need to have a specified step one, step two, step three, step four mechanism, so that if we model this thing in a automated system like a computer or any algorithm, we can easily solve it. Okay, so this method of representing the block diagram into a graph, right? Graph method, right? This is called signal flow graph. Okay, so this is the method we'll discuss today, signal flow graph. Okay, so you understood why we need the signal flow graph. We need signal flow graph so that any person or a computer can solve it by step process. There is no need for thinking a lot of possibilities. If you think solve a problem, there are a lot of possibilities. So when computer doesn't like a lot of possibilities, it, if you give step by step instructions, it will easily follow that instructions. Okay, so this is what the scientist Mason thought about. How can I make it a common procedure for any computer system to solve this? Even if there are a lot of mathematical complexities, but if there's a clear cut way, straight line, a b c d path, or first, second, third, fourth, step one, step two, step three, will be much easier. So the better to convert the block diagram into a signal flow graph. Right now, the graph, we also have a lot of data structure within computer system of graph data structure and binary tree data structure, list, linked list, etc., etc. So it is easier for computer to model this kind of structure rather than block diagrams and complicated paths. Okay, so let's see how this work. Okay, so basically there is one equation which is he has given. It's called Mason's gain formula. So this is a Mason's gain formula. Is one formula Mason's gain formula. Okay, so what is this Mason's gain formula? This is kind of a formula. Instead of doing the uh, um, human judgment, human analysis, human intuitive method, or human way of solving a problem, let's have a uh, standard formula, right? So once you are converting into signal flow graph, then you need to apply this formula only, right? So this formula you have to apply. The formula is so before I'll just give you the formula first, then I will explain what are these individual things. The transfer function, overall gain of a transfer function T, overall gain T can be given by 1 by delta. We'll explain what are these individual things. Sigma K is the different paths, Pk into delta K. Okay, so this is Mason's gain formula. Now our whole idea is how to understand, how to apply this formula into our complicated block diagram, which is converted into a signal flow graph. Okay, so this formula has to be applied on our signal flow graph, right? So what are the main things to here? This is overall gain. T is the overall gain of the transfer function, which if we solve it by uh, block diagram reduction method. Right now we can easily get it by this formula. Now very important thing you should note, this is the most important thing here, this delta. We'll explain what is delta. Okay, and the same thing, another possible delta is coming in the you can see in the bracket delta K. Okay, so these are some mathematical numerical values which will be deriving from the signal flow graph. Okay, and P, what is the meaning of P I can, P is always called as forward path. Okay, forward path gain. P is always forward path gain. Okay, forward path gain, forward path gain. And what is the K stands for here? What is K stands for here? K, forward path gain for kth path, right? We are talking about path. There are a lot of paths in a signal flow graph or a block diagram. So we are talking specifically about the kth path, right? That is PK. PK stands for kth forward path, PK. That means P stands for forward path gain. So PK stands for forward path gain of kth path. Okay. Or if you go by kth path, we'll get the forward gain. What is P? P is the forward gain of the kth forward. PK is the forward path gain for the kth path. Okay. So this much is clear. The equation is this. Now we'll see what are the components, how we apply this equation on the signal flow graph. And signal flow graph is a representation of block diagram. There is not much difference, and we'll just brush up. Okay, so this is the Mason's gain formula, and we understood why we need this formula, because computers needs a way of working, like fixed way of passing step one, step two, algorithm kind of way. Okay, so we need, if you have a formula, computer can find the different parameters of the formula, right? You can find first delta, then pk, then delta k, then you can use apply the whole formula. Okay, so this is not for human, but even the block diagram becomes more and more complicated. Whole industry, if we have a plant of a power plant industry or a chemical industry or a electrical power plant system, the transfer function can become very complicated, very complex. So humanly it is very difficult to solve it manually. So if there are computerized way, automated ways, we can algorithms solving the problem, it will be easier for us to solve it without any mistakes. Okay, so what is the meaning of this formula? I'll again explain. So this formula, if we give to the computer, we'll program it, we'll make an algorithm so that computer can use this formula. So it have a fixed way, we don't need to use any intelligence, because computers doesn't have any intelligence. Although we say machine intelligence, it is like it can learn from human programming. Okay, it has a lot of decision making, and this decision making has to be done by the lot of algorithm which is coded by human beings only. Okay, so we are just transferring our intelligence to the machines, but we should make it everything very clear. What is this, what is this decision, all those things. So here this formula, what is the meaning of this formula? You should have a feel of this formula. This is the overall transfer function t, and this is 1 by delta. There is something called delta, which is a very important thing. Now what is sigma k? You should know what is sigma. Summation, right? Summation of k terms are there, or k equal to 1 to or k equal 1, j equal to 1 to k or something. There are k nodes or k individual elements within the summation loop. Okay, k individual elements. So like this p1 delta 1, right, plus p2 delta 2, right, p3 delta 3. Okay, I think you get the feel what we are trying to access. Okay, so these are the components within this equation we need to find. First we'll need to find delta. Then we can see there are individual p1, that is forward path gain for the first path, forward path gain for the second path, forward gain for the third path, etc., etc., and goes on like this. Now how much, where should we stop? That with the question or the signal flow graph input which is to be solved, or the block diagram which is to be solved, will give us how many paths have to be taken. On 1, 2, 3, that will be given in the forward path only. Okay, and this is, we need to find delta 1 also for the each path. Okay, each loop, and this depends upon number of loops in the problem. Okay, let's come to that thing. Okay, I think you get what is the equation Mason's gain formula, what is requirement of Mason's gain formula, and how can we apply this into a block diagram. Let's see. Okay, so before that, let's see how to uh, convert any system into signal flow graph. Okay, so if you have simple system like this, we have a simple system like this. U is the input, and we have a G, G1, G2, and C is the output. Okay, so we have arrows. So how to draw the signal flow graph of the system? Very simple. We'll consider this as node 1. This is node 1, and this is node 2. This is node 1. This is node 2. This is node 3. Okay, so right now we need to put the gain. For the gain, we have gain in this part, so this is G1, and gain 2 in this part, this is G2, and U is in first node, C is in the output. Okay, so this is the way of converting uh, a block diagram into signal flow graph, right? We have done nothing. We are just drawn the input. Same input is going to the signal flow graph. Same output is also coming out of the signal flow graph. But each of the point where signal is passing through is made as a node, right? This is a node in the signal flow graph. This is another node in the signal flow graph. You can see that's it. Every individual point is considered as a node in the signal flow graph. That's it. And the gains will be automatically the remaining same. And suppose we have a feedback path. Suppose we have a feedback path from output to the this node with a gain of h. So what will happen in signal flow graph? We'll take a node from the C output to the input. For example, now this is summing loop. This is minus. This is plus. So we have to put the gain h is minus h. Okay. So things are very simple. How to convert the block diagram into signal flow graph? The only thing you have to understand, we are making signal flow graph so that the computer can appreciate it, understand it better, right? So that it can be converted to graph, which is the data structure within computer. So that right now the whole block diagram can be um, given to the computer as a graph. Now computer can do graph processing. There are a lot of latest research also going on graph processing. A lot of algorithms are applying. So we can apply these different algorithms to solve this transfer function or simplify this complicated transfer function. Okay, now let's see an example. Or before that, I'll just explain some more things. Suppose we have a input x1, another input x2. So this will be a node in signal flow graph. This will be another node, and both are combined together to a node x3, right? So we need, then you will ask, what is the gain? Yeah, in this path there's a gain. I'll call this is a1, this is a2. Okay. So how can you write the equation of x3? So here the equation of x3, you can write x3 is combination of signals from two different nodes, x1 and x2, two different paths who has gain a1 and a2. So x3 equal to a1 into x1 plus a2 into x2, right? It's very simple. Okay. Now if we have path x1 and we have node, then we'll go to x2. This is x1 node, x2 and x3. And if we have a gain, if we have a gain a1 and if this again a2, so how can we write the net or simplified way of writing the same thing? I can write a node from x3, x1 is starting, it is ending on x3, and the collective gain is a1 into a2, right? This is simplified. How is simplified? Because x2 I have eliminated here, right? a1 into a2, this is a multiplication, right? Why? First gain is a1, second gain is a2, so the net gain is a1 into a2, similar like block diagram reduction, same. Okay, it's not much complication, same as block diagram reduction, but the representation we have in terms of nodes and graphs, that is only a difference. Okay, so there can be another of this is x1, this is we have a node x1 and we have two nodes going to x2. One is in this way, another is in this way. If this gain is A, if this gain is B, how can you write? The same thing can be simplified as single node x1 to x2, where we know this is parallel. This A1 is going, same thing is going in B, signal is going as B. So we can say that the signal common, they have a common signal at x1, which is propagating through A gain and B gain. So we can say the same signal net gain is A plus B. Clear? Same thing which we had done in signal flow graphs. Okay, so two more things I'll just explain then and here. So we have x1, x2, this is a node, this is another node, and this is coming to another point x3. So this is another node, and it is coming to x4. Okay, and path I had to show in each of this thing. We don't have any block here, and this path have a gain. This is gain A, this is gain B, this is gain C. So how can you write simplify it? We can simplify it, right? This we can see this the C, the gain C is common for both path. This path and this path gain is common. So I can simplify, or I can another way of representing same thing is I have a x1, I have x2. I can eliminate this x3 node. Okay, so this is x1, x1 directly. I'm coming to x4. This is another node x4. Okay. Now, what is the gain here when I'm reducing or eliminating the x3 node? So this path we have A into C, and this path is B into C. So this path is gain is AC, and this path is BC. Right? Very simple. We have branch, two branch combining together x3 and another gain C. So this C is common for both branches, and A into C is the top branch, A into C. Bottom branch is B into C. Similar like block diagram reduction. Okay. Now we will do a final thing and we'll go to problems. Okay. Now we have a node x1. It is going to node x2, and now it is going to node x3. Okay. The path there's a gain A, it's a gain B. From x3 there is a feedback symbol. We can say the direction is feedback. Okay. Now what is the gain? C is the gain. Now how can you simplify this? How can you simplify this? Yeah, if you remember the block diagram reduction, we have used some kind of similar thing. We have x1, x2, and x3. Okay. Now you need to simplify this. We know the forward path gain is B. Here it is A. Now the reverse path gain is C. So I can represent the forward path gain combining these two things, and I can write as what is the equation? Remember the equation? Forward path gain into you can see this here it is you can see it's positive, so this is plus C, right? So forward path gain divided by 1 minus forward path gain into feedback path, right? So this is the actually what we have solved in the block diagram reduction. Whenever there is a loop, here loop is a feedback. Why feedback? Because this is the direction in the forward loop, this is the direction in the feedback loop. So there is a feedback here. When you have feedback with the gain B in the forward path and the gain plus C in the feedback path, the net gain can be represented by B divided by 1 minus BC. Okay. So this will come here, this will be coming at this point. This is the gain coming at this point. Is it clear? What we have done, we have a feedback path gain, right? We have a feedback path in the node x2 to x3. We have feedback. Forward path gain is plus B and feedback path gain is plus C. So I have simplified it like Lagrangian reduction, and that is nothing but numerator is forward path gain divided by denominator is 1 minus forward path gain into feedback path gain, 1 minus BC. Okay, so right now I can write like this. This is represented as B divided by 1 minus BC. Okay, fine. So again, we can reduce this. How can we reduce this into further? You know, this is x1 and this is again I can make to x1 to x3. Can reduce one loop again. Sorry, one node again. So then now the path will be A into P divided by 1 minus BC. Right? Right, nicely. So this is your x1 to x3. So what is the gain? A. This is the gain here into G1 into G2. That means A into B divided by 1 minus BC is the net gain. Okay. I don't think it's difficult for you, because if you already know how to solve these block diagram reduction, this is the same method. Okay. So till now it was the same method because we are just trying to model the blocks into a graph, right? Where the paths represents the different gains, right? Path represents the different gains, and different input and different signal adders and are represented by the nodes, right? These are the nodes which represent the different points where signals are added or subtracted. Okay. Okay. Now we can see some example where how can I apply the Mason's gain formula. So I again write the Mason's gain formula, which is used to determine the transfer function of a system or a block diagram, right? From the signal flow graph. So first process is you have to convert the block diagram into signal flow graph, or you might have given directly the signal flow graph. Now you have to apply the Mason's gain formula. So what is Mason's gain formula? The T, what is T here? Transfer function can be derived using Mason's gain formula, which is 1 divided by delta sigma k paths are there, k individual elements are there, pk, which is the forward path gain of the kth forward path, okay, into delta k, that is delta of the kth path. So this is the Mason's gain formula. Now we'll see what are the different elements of this formula and how to apply this formula. So let's see. We already know P. What is P? Forward path, right? So in all this examples we have given, we have discussed the forward path is very simple. Here we have a lot of nodes, right? Suppose this is the direction, this is direction. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in 3 to 4 there is another path here. Okay, so from this example, how many forward paths are there? Now we are talking about P. Okay, because P is the forward path gain. Forward path gain. So let's see, explain what is the forward path. So forward path here, how many forward paths are there? Here we have two forward paths. What are the two forward paths? First path is 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 using this direction, then 4 to 5. Say I'll write this x way, right? What is second path? Second path is through bottom. 1 to 2, again 2 to 3, again 3 to 4 through bottom y path, and 4 to 5. Right? There are two forward paths here. Maybe some gain. I'm representing x and y by some gain. Okay. So suppose I have something like this also. Suppose I have feedback from 4 to 2. Now how many forward paths are there? Same. Forward paths remain the same because we have right now we have feedback path is added, but doesn't change the forward path. Okay. Okay. Sometimes there can be a another path like this, 2 or 1 to 3, something like this, 1 to 3. Now how many forward paths are there? You know, x and y, that is 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. There are two forward paths through x and through y. Okay, so there can be two forward paths, that is 1 2 3 x 4 5, and there is 1 2 3 y 4 5. And what is the now next forward path is through, yeah, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, then 1 to 3, then there are two options, x to 5, that is 1 2 3 x 4 5, right? Sorry, this is not 1 2 3, there is 1 to 3, 1 to 3. Okay, now what is the next forward path? Again 1, I'll go to 3, 1, I'll go to 3, then through y, then I go to 4 and 5. Okay, so just adding this 1 to 3 forward path, I have got two extra paths. Okay, so this exactly what we have learned in basic mathematics. If there are n ways to go from a path, or an event is having two paths, or there are n ways to go to another path, right? Combine both paths combined. That means here in this example, for reaching from 1 to 5, how many ways are there? If m ways are there in first event, n ways are in second event, total events can be m into n, right? The same thing. Same thing. Here I am giving the two paths. 1 to 3, I have two paths. 3 to 4, I have two paths. So 2 into 2. 2 into 2. Total paths are 4. Something like this basic thing. Only you need to know what is my forward path. So P is my forward path gain. Now, what is forward path gain? Right now, I've seen the forward path. Now, let's see what is the forward path gain. Say this is my, okay, a very important node. Each graph or node have direction. Now we have, I'm drawing a, okay, this is a gain, b, c, d, e. Okay, so what I've shown here, I've shown the different gains on this path. In this path I have gain a. This path, for example, this, I don't want to name the nodes. Okay, I'm just naming the gains. Okay, now what are the possible forward paths from x1 to x2? This is x1, this is x2. What are possible forward paths? First path is first path is through gains. Let me name the nodes. That will better. Else we get complicated. X2. This is x3. This is x4, and this is x. Oh, x2 is multiple times. So this is Let this be x5. Okay, this is x5. Okay, so what are the different paths right now? There are two paths, right? First path is, I call it P1. This two paths, like first path is P1. So this is P1. What is P1 path? P1 path is through x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. And what about P2? Second possibility is, you can say second possibility is like this, right? X1 to x2, then you have the gain D and x4, x5. So second path is P2 equal to x1, x2, x4, and x5. Okay, so you should remember P1, as the definition states, P1 is the forward uh, path gain of the kth forward path. Forward path gain for the fourth forward path. So what is the P1 here? What is the P1 here? You can see what is the gain of the first forward path. The gain, forward path gain. Which path? First path. This is first path. This is the first path. And this is the second path. This is second path through D. Okay, so what is the gain? A into B, A into B into C into E. So this is A into B into C into E is the P1 forward path gain of the first forward path. Forward path gain of the first path. We are always considering the forward path. That is the thing P. P is always the forward path gain. P1 stands for forward path gain of the first forward path. Okay, first forward path. Now what about P2? Now second path, we can say A into, now there is no B, we have D. Yeah, A into D into E. Okay, so this is the forward path gain of the second forward path, right? So P1 and P2 we got it. So we know P always stands for forward path gain, and to always have to detect which forward path I'm going. P1 means I'm going for the first forward path, P2 means I'm going second forward path. So very important, first you had to mention which is your first path, which is your second path, etc., etc. Getting? Because you have to name. It's up to you. It's up to you. So computer can also do it, like largest path can be one, smallest path can be two, and go on. There can be a lot of paths in a block diagram reduction question or problem. Okay, so we have discussed what is the forward path gain of the kth forward path. Okay, whenever we are asking about forward path gain, we have always a question, which forward path? Is it first path, second path, third path, etc. Okay, now we'll go for delta. What is delta? Okay, now we have got the forward path gain. Just multiply all these gains in the path. So we'll get the forward path gain of that path. Now what is this delta? Now the textbook doesn't give you the name for this. You can say call it delta only. That's very important. Delta is one. The question is like this. This pattern. It's a bit big. Seems like big, but this one. This is starting with one. One minus sum of individual loop gains, individual loop gains. Okay, now this formula continues. Individual, now you should remember this individual. Now again there's a plus, this is continuation. Now the thing is sum of, again this remains same, sum of products of all possible combination of two non-touching loops, very important, non-touching loops. You should write this formula. Sum of products of all possible combinations of two non-touching loops, right? Now again it will become minus. Equation continues. So I'll put small bracket so that, okay, this is the first, this is minus, and it is plus, again it is minus. Now let's see, now it is continuing. You can see a pattern. Now it's minus sum of products of all remaining same. Now the things are remaining same of all possible all possible combinations of, yeah, now 2 becomes 3 non-touching loops, non-touching loops. Okay, again can say this is a, okay, now we can say next sign will be definitely a plus, and this goes on. Now it will be 4, again minus, be 5. Okay, okay, this is the delta, this is the delta. Okay, so we can see very important thing here, you should note these things. There is always start with a 1, very important, this 1 is very important. Even if others are 0, delta is at least 1, you should remember. And sum of individual loop, first is individual, everything taken individually, sum of individual loop gains, right? So whatever number of loops are there, we can have to calculate their gains. Let's see how it does. First you see the pattern, 1 minus sum of individual loop gains. Now have taken all the loop gains individually. Now we are taking product, very important. Now we're taking product, right? Product of what? We are taking product of all those loop gains, product of all possible combination of two not touching loops, right? Now we are taking product of all possible combination of two non touching loops, right? Some individually we taken all the loop individually in the first step. Next we are taking sum of the products of all possible combination of two non touching. Now we are taking two, some of the products of all possible combination two non-touching loops, right? Or we can say non-touching loop gains. Okay. Next, again we are taking the sum of all products, right? In first case only we are taking individually. Then we are saying sum of products. We have products of all possible combination of again three non-touching loops. Three non-touching loops. Okay. Then it goes on 4, it goes on 5, etc., etc., etc. And we'll end at the final stage. So these will be limited by your signal flow graph. Usually, signal flow graphs may have a limited, maybe two loops or three loops. So we need to do only two of this, maybe two of this branches or two of this parts of this equation. Okay. So you write this equation. Now we are going to apply this equation to a problem. Okay. So again, I'll repeat delta. Delta is nothing but 1 minus sum of individual loop gains. We have a lot of paths, so a lot of loops also. Here loop is very important. We are taking loop, sum of individual loop gains. Quite a lot of loops are there. We are just taking loops, gains of those adding together. Right, sum. This is sum. Again, minus plus sum of the product. Now becomes product of the all possible combinations. Okay, right, all possible combinations of two non-touching loops. Very important, two non-touching. We'll see what is non-touching loop. Simple. Two loops are not connected through any node or any point. It is called non-touching. Simple. Again, sum of all possible products of all possible combination of three non-touching loops, right? It's increasing, and 4 and 5 till your all the loops have been taken. Okay. Now, what is delta? If we have found what is delta k? Delta k has to be written in relation to this only. Delta k is nothing but same way we'll calculate delta k also, right? So delta k is nothing but delta, same way, same method is the delta for that part of the loop, for that part of the graph, sorry, that part of graph, delta for that part of the graph which is not touching kth forward path, which is not touching, or here k, not touching kth forward path, kth forward path. Okay. So if you know how to calculate delta, we can calculate delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, delta 3. How? Because if you're getting delta k, we are taking all those delta for that only, for that part of graph where is not touching the kth forward path. Okay. So delta k is related to pk. If we are considering kth forward path, delta k is delta for all the other paths which is not touching kth forward path. Okay, so please write this equation first, then when we apply this equation you'll have better appreciation, better understanding. Okay, so again I'll just review p. What is p? P is the forward path gain, forward path gain. And what is pk? The same as forward path gain for the kth forward path. Okay, so p1, p2, p3, p4, pn, that is forward path gain of the nth forward path, right? Forward path we have seen. Now delta is a simple equation, not simple equation, it is a kind of equation which is taking into account loop gains. Okay, what type of loop gains? First I'll take individual loop gains, sum of all the individual loop gains, and second I'll take into account, here I'll just first I'll take First, I'll take the individual loop gains, the first part. Then I'll take the products of the possible combination of two loop gains, right? Product of all possible combination of two non-touching loops, right? Again, I'm taking the combination of three non-touching loops, their products, some of their products. Okay, three non-touching. It's like combination permutation. Okay, sum of all the possible combination of three non-touching loops. We have three loops, then we have all possible combination of two of those three loops. We'll see. Okay, it's not difficult. Okay, now what is delta k? Delta k is delta which has been calculated above for that part of the graph where it is not touching the kth forward path, right? So before all these things we have to find different forward path, and individually we have to find p1, p2, p3, that is gain, forward path gain for individual paths, then lambda delta k, that is delta for the graph which is not touching that forward path. Okay, so let's take an example and we'll stop it here. Okay, so we have so I'm drawing a graph. We have to find this solution of this graph using Mason's gain formula. We can draw this graph. So this is rs, this is, say it is r, so this is node, and this is node 2, this is node 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 nodes are the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I need the arrow also is important. It shows the direction of the graph, and we have to number the node. Okay, so I'll number like this. This is first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now I have to specify the gain. What are the gain I'm giving for this each of the path, right? So the gain I'm writing like this. This is a gain 1. Here gain is 1. Here it is g1, g1, g2, g2, g3 is 4 to 5, g4 5 to 6, g4, g5 6 to 7, then again 1 from 7 to 8. Okay, now the question continues somewhere branches or feedback path is there. From 2 to 5 I have another forward path, 2 to 5. Okay, here I should show the arrow here, not the here. Okay, so this will be gain g6, gain g6 is here. Okay, now I'm drawing the feedback. 4 to 3, there is a h1, 4 to 3, there's a path, reverse path, so it's a loop, minus h1. Okay, 4 nodes, and 5 to 3, there is another feedback path, 5 to 3, that is minus h2, minus h2. Okay, now there is one more gain from 7 to 6, feedback minus h3 minus h3. So this is the question. Now let's see how we start to solve this question. So we see how many nodes are there? 8 nodes are there, and output you can call output is somewhat C or something. You can see any variable for output here. I'm putting C. R is the input, C is the output. Okay, and we have different gains of 1, G1, G2, G3, G4, G5. Again, one last node, and we have different loops. Now, how many loops are here? How many loops are here? Yeah, there are only 3 loops, right? Loops means there's a feedback path, right? We have to start from a point. We have to start from a point and come back. Then only loop is completing a circular path, right? Then only loop is complete. Loop is complete. So here only I have only 3 loops. What are 3 loops? What are the 3 loops? One is G2, G3, and minus H2. This is the one loop, right? This is the one loop. First loop is this is most simple loop. G2. This is the first loop. Second loop is you go here and come back through H2. Second loop, and third loop is G5. You come back to minus H3 gain. Okay, we have 3 loops. This is not a loop. G6, the path through G6 is not a loop. It is a forward path. Okay, now we have 3 loops. And how many forward paths are there? Please type and tell me how many forward paths are there. If you have any class, please do tell me. So how many forward paths are here? Yeah, someone? We can type how many forward paths are here. Yeah, 2 exactly. So P we got, so we'll make this forward path name P1 and P2. So what is P1? Forward path 1, right? And what is the gain? For what is P1? Forward path gain for the first forward path. So the forward path, we can see the forward paths are, can you find P1 and P2? Let's say first forward path is straight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So forward path is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the first forward path. Second forward path is P2 is 1, 2, then 5. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the second forward path. Is it clear? One is straight. We can see this is the forward path. Second is just through G6. Okay. Now what is P1, P2? This is the gain. We have to find the gain, forward path gain for the first forward path. So what is the forward path gain for the first forward path? Let us find. What are the gains? We need to multiply 1 into G1 into G2 into G3 into G4 into G5. Okay, right? So this is the first forward path. So in simplified way, we can write just product of all those gains. That is G1, G2, G3, G4, G5. This is the P1. Okay, now what is P2? P2 is through G6. So it is 1 into, 1 into G6, G6 into G4 into G5. Okay, G5. Okay, so we can simplify it as G4, 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 G5, G6. Okay, you can see all these gains are positive. So this multiplication is also positive. So okay, so P1 and P2 is easy. We can easily find the product of this forward path of the first path and second path. Okay, now very simple. Now these paths are important. These 2 paths you are designated right now is again important to find delta, because when you find delta, you remember in the equation, if you see the equation, you always end sum of the all gain products of all possible combination of 2 non-touching loops. This is what we use for find delta. And by delta k, when you find for delta k, you have to remember delta for that part of the graph which is non-touching kth forward path, right? So we are always need to refer this forward path for finding delta 1, delta 2, delta 3, because we need to see that whether this forward path is touching, then only I can find delta 1, delta 2, and okay, etc. Right? So this path has to be kept till last point till we find delta k. Okay, now let's find. Next step is first we have find forward path gain. So this is the first step. So first step, what you have done the first step? First step we have find the forward path gain. Find P. Okay, so this is the first step. We have found P. P means P1, P2, P3. Now second step is, now let's, oh, I should not have deleted this question, but I think you have drawn this diagram in your notebooks, right? Now second step is, second, what is second step is individual loop gains. To find the individual, what is the individual loop? We have to take all these individual loops together. So we know the first individual loops is to G2, through G2. G2 is the gain, this is the path, and feedback through H1 minus H1. This is the first loop. Okay, now a second loop is G1, G2 to G3, again to minus H2 to the top, feedback put. G2, G3. Arrow should be like this. Sorry, I'm just making some mistakes. And third loop is, yeah, sixth node to seventh node. G5 is the gain, return gain is, the feedback gain is minus H3. So if you write the loop, this is third loop, this is fourth node, sorry, node, third node, fourth node. This is again third node and fifth node, and between I have a fourth node. Okay, so these are the individual loop gains. So first we have found the P, second I need to find the, now second step is find the individual loop gain. Individual loop gains. Okay, now second step is finding individual loop gains. Now, what is the loop gain of the first loop? Now I can say this is P11. This is individual loop gain of the first loop, P11, P11. This is the loop gain of the loop 1, individual loop gain of the loop 1. And what is P12? This is the individual loop gain of the loop 2. Or I can say P21, that is better. P21. Loop 2, I'm finding the individual loop gain. Now I have P3, and what is 3? Loop 3, this is the individual loop gain. Right. Now what is the P11? Now let's write, what is P11? Loop gain. Yeah, just multiply this loop G2 into minus H1. So this is minus G2 H1, right? Just multiply this path loop over the overall loop. You just multiply the gains. And what is P21? Yeah, G2 into G3 minus into minus H2. That means minus G2 G3 H2. That is P21. And what is P31? We have G4. So this is G5. This is G5. G5 into H3. That is a minus. There's a minus here. Okay. So we have calculated, this is loop gain of individual loop. So this is the second step. You take all these loops individually and find their loop gains. Okay. All taken all gains loops individually and find their loop gains. Okay. And designated them as P11, P21, P31. Okay. So what is actually, say, I'm using this terminology is very important. If I have 1, 2, what is the meaning of this? This is the individual loop gain of loop 2. For example, there are two loops within this. You need P12, P13, P14. That means in first loop, I have different gains, right? But here in this question, there are only one single loop. There's no loop within the loop or multiple loops to be considered. So I don't have this values P12, P13, P14. Okay. So here it is very simple problem. That's why I don't have multiple things. So P21 is for the loop 2, my first gain is this. If there are second gains, second loop, second gain will be so much, third gain will be so much. So although in this problem it is simple, I don't have that different loops. So this is simplified. Now what is P31? P, uh, please 1 minute. Okay, so shall we continue? Can you continue, or we should stop here? Is there any class? Then we should stop here, else we can continue. I think I can continue a bit more. I think just want to. Okay, okay. I think we can continue in the next class then. Okay, okay, fine. We'll stop it here. So you can put your roll number. So please draw all this we have drawn till here, so that we'll continue exactly from this point. So what you have done is just find the different paths P1, P2, P3. Then we have find the loops, different loops, right? Now we'll use the Mason's gain formula here. Okay. So fine.